The mid-cycle refresh, when a current generation of cars gets an update to stay modern and competitive. Better equipment, better engines, and improved modern styling. Mostly. Sometimes these facelifts don't really lift but end up ruining the looks of the car. I'll show you what I mean. Number 5. Honda Accord Euro 2006. Let's ease into it with a pretty minor one. I have always loved the looks of these, and I actually owned one, but I never really liked the facelift. The headlights were changed slightly, most notably with the turn signals going from orange to clear, and they slapped this stylish grille on top of the old one, which made it quite boring looking, to be honest. The sportier versions kept a more sporty grille though. Number 4. Nissan Primera 1999. The mid-90s was prime Nissan. The second generation Primera took the awkward round looks of the first one and modernized it beautifully. At the end of the decade though, something changed and suddenly Nissan decided that they should start making the ugliest cars in the world. The so-called facelift had a bit of an overbite, but it wasn't that bad. It paved the road for the next generation though, and that is simply unforgivable. No, that one hasn't grown on me. Not after 20-something years. Number 3. Peugeot 307 2005. You can't really mistake a pre-facelift 307 for anything else. It was quite unique looking. Peugeot started changing their design language in the middle of its life cycle, so it was facelifted to meet these new looks. It was a really boring shift that took away the distinct styling and made it forgettable, almost identical to the 308 that replaced it. Dishonorable mention to the 206 Plus, which ruined the unique styling of the 206 in the same way. Number 2. Mitsubishi ASX 2019. The first generation of the ASX lived on for 12 years, so it's not that surprising that it got facelifted 3 times. None of these are particularly attractive from the side, but the first couple of versions were pretty nice from the front, like a high-riding Lancer Evolution 10. The first facelift was just 2 years in, and it was pretty minor. The second one 3 years later modernized it a bit. Understandable, the design was pretty old at this time. And then, 4 years later, they ruined it. For some reason, they just had to make a last-minute design change to match the new design language. They already had an ugly crossover with the Eclipse Cross, but apparently that wasn't enough. They just had to make another one. All versions before this were pretty streamlined, but this front kinda works on a bigger car like the Outlander, but not on this. Luckily, it was sold here only very briefly, so I very rarely see these on the road. In Finland, they sold 316 ASXs in 2018 and 855 in 2019. I would assume all of these were the second facelift versions. And then in 2020, they sold 606 of this last hideous version, 194 in 2001, and then it was discontinued, so no more in 2022. After that, it got replaced by a Renault Captur with Mitsubishi badging. And number 1, Citroën Xara 2001. The pre-facelift version of the Xara was pretty basic 90s Citroën. Maybe a bit boring, but inoffensive and clean. Then 2001 happened. They apparently took the front end of the recent release C5, and then they just slapped it on this smaller car, just hard enough to make it weird. Luckily, this was a passing experimental phase in Citroën's design, and the C4 that followed was much nicer. And the current one is actually not bad at all. No, wait. They actually made that one a bit worse with the facelift too. Sorry Citroën, but that retro logo just doesn't do it for me. Coming up with material for this video was surprisingly hard, which I suppose is a good thing. I mean, when a car brand changes their design language for the worse, it doesn't show up until the next generation. Most of the time. Manufacturers tend to have the courtesy not to ruin an already existing model, so facelifts have actually mostly made things better, to be honest. You might also notice that these are all very ordinary cars. That's because I like to keep things familiar. If I haven't personally seen it, it doesn't make the list. Simple as that. If you like this down-to-earth method, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to get at least a couple of videos out each week. Take care. The sportier variants kept a more sporty. The sportier variants kept a more... The sportier ones. For some reason they made a last-minute design change. For some reason they made a last-minute design update. For some reason they had to make a last-minute design change. For some reason they just had to make a last-minute design change to